IU Art Museum has one of the best collections for a university art museum anywhere in the country. And our African and art from the South Pacific Islands collections are among really the best in the world. This is a drum from the Austral Islands, and it's a drum that was no doubt used on ceremonial occasions. You can see it's very tall, very thin, and this is a drum style that was used throughout Polynesia for important events like that. It's carved from wood, which is not that unusual, but it also has on it coconut fiber or senet, braided fiber, and then perhaps the most unusual aspect of its materials is that the top part, or tympanum, is made of shark skin. But what makes the drum truly spectacular is the very intricate carving that is all over the sounding chamber of the drum and also the stand on which it sits.
If you want to come see some of our paintings and prints, we're happy to pull them out. Well, one of the pieces I chose to talk about today is a painting by two Chinese Zen Buddhist monks, one living in China and the other in Japan. It's called The Purity of the Moon and dates to 1655. It records the passing of the Dharma seat, or the authority of Buddhist law, from one Chinese cleric to another, and actually moving the location of the Dharma seat from China to Japan in 1655. That's probably my favorite piece of calligraphy in the collection.
Works on paper are very vulnerable to light exposure, so works generally don't stay up more than 3, 6, or maybe even a year, 6 months to a year. So we do try to focus on various programs to let people know that they're up. This work seemed like a wonderful example, looking at the idea of the femme fatale at the turn of the century. It's called The Sin by Edvard Munch. This more famous example of this image is with this red, orange, fiery color and these green eyes that really allude to the serpent, the snake in the Adam and Eve story. And so she clearly becomes, again, this temptress.
We also have quite a few extremely major works in our collection, such as the Beckman, our Picasso, this mural by Stuart Davis. The portrait is, as I mentioned, is by Max Beckman, one of the major German artists of the 20th century. And it's very characteristic of Beckman's portrait style. He tends to compress the space, creates a very claustrophobic sort of environment, which lends a lot of psychological interest to the piece. And his style is very angular. He tends to use these black outlines to define his forms in the painting.